Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your October 2021 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Sagittarius be affected by the October 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have the Chariot, which is Cancer energy. If we have Cancer in our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully at our root. We have the world opening up, and it's kind of like we have to walk forward in this world with love, but also we're going to see that we're guided in a different way than we thought we were going to be moving forward during this moon. Something starts to open up. We start to see something. We have the Witch of Earth, which is Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. If you're born on the cusp with Capricorn, or if you have Earth sign energy within your chart, that's going through very powerfully in your inner self. You're going to want things to be very grounded, very settled. And this could be a bit of a frustrating time for us because we have such a strong Aries Mars presence, and Aries is, of course, ruled by Mars. We're going to find that nothing is exactly lined up the way that we want it. We then have the goddess of water, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. So we have, again, strong Cancer energy here. But again, if we have water sign energy in our natal chart, that comes through in our inner self. We have the Page of Pentacles, again, that earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, coming through in our emotional self, and the Ace of Swords, that air sign energy coming through, but also a gift from divinity just for us, insight, ideas. We're cutting through a lot of doubts and fears. We're also seeing that our mind plays a huge part in things, and our mind and our hearts are coming together. The 10 of Cups is beautiful in the public arena. The 3 of Swords, very interesting, and the Ace of Wands. We actually have, the depiction here of the Witch of Earth taking that gift and connecting with the earth with it. So our fire sign energy, which, of course we are fire sign energy, is coming through, and we're getting this gift of connection, of power, of insight, of ideas. We're also opening up the door, and we're seeing ourselves move forward in a way that we hadn't expected. Again, there's a sense of these gifts coming in, the gift of the mind, the gift of passion, and we're going to see ourselves moving forward in a very focused, very purposeful, very intense way, and that's going to be very powerful for us. Let's look at our chakra energy, not our chakra energy, the energy we need to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. We have the Hierophant, the High Priest here in the Druid Craft deck, and what this is very much a sense of authority figures are going to be something that we have a bit of a problem with. It can be that our boss wants us to do one thing and we need to do another. It can be that, there are too many demands coming at us. We're also going to be very drawn to people who are astoundingly bossy. They're not going to want us to go against what they say. And it's almost going to be like they rule the roost and we're supposed to listen. We're also going to have a tendency ourselves to be a little bit bossy, to be very intense, to be very focused and very demonstrative, okay, when it comes to things. And it's not in that loving, caring, way. It's in the way of, you will listen to me. And so we have to kind of step back from this because we have such strong energy that comes in from Mars, the god of war, that we're going to, want to push forward that way. We're going to want to conquer. We're going to want to be that hero, that intensity. And we're going to find people that are, again, embracing that energy and really moving forward with it. But it brings a moodiness, but it brings an anger. That's it. It brings an anger that we have to be mindful of. And that's going to be something that definitely comes into play during this time for us. Now let's look at our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels. Okay, we have two. We have flexibility, which is the sacral chakra, and we have the inner child. Now, I love it when the inner child comes up because when it comes with the heart chakra, which is always linked with the heart chakra, it is telling us to connect with our inner child, connect with our passion, our insight, our ideas that move us forward. The inner child, the exercise that I love to do whenever this card comes up is to just visualize the child that we once were at that vulnerable age, at that age where we might have felt really misunderstood, really misguided, as if nobody saw us, nobody, loved us even. And hold your arms open to that child and let that child run into your arms and just grab that child tight. Grab the person you once were tight and say, I love you, I'm here for you, and I'm always going to be here for you. Because there's a power to that here. There's a power because we come through as an innocent almost in our hearts when it comes to money. We come through embracing a childlike almost naivety. It's not a bad thing because I know naivety can have a negative connotation to it, but it's not that we're going to be taken advantage of. It's just that we're going to be looking at things very simply and not understanding why others aren't looking at things as simply as we are. Seeing the answers as clearly as we are. And then with the flexibility with the sacral chakra, we're embracing the flexibility of our emotions. We're embracing the flexibility of our sensuality, our creativity. We're starting to open ourselves up to more wisdom, more insight, more ideas, and we're starting to see ourselves move forward in that. There is a sense here, as we're embracing the sacral chakra, that a lot of negativity from this life and past lives come up. And that can be something that stalls us during this time because this is the hunter's moon. This is the time. This is the hunter's moon, the blood moon. This is the time where there's almost this sacrifice being made, right? In the preparation, if we're in the northern hemisphere, for the winter. That sacrifice of the hunt, that sacrifice of the nourishment that's going to be able to help us survive the winter as our ancestors, saw it. And so this is a very sacred moon in many, many cultures because of this. Now, the full moon, if we step into the full moon itself and into the astrology of it, the full moon always brings us into alignment with home, family, and close relationships. Things become very focused around these entities during at least the 2 weeks after the full moon. It could be longer than that if we are really moon sensitive. And we're going to find here that opposite energies come into play and they become our focus. We become very focused on these opposite energies. We can feel that we're out of balance with something. And again, that's the anger coming out. That's a sense of, this is what I need to look at. This is what I need to find the answers to. We're going to be kind of obsessed during this time, Sagittarius, with finding the answers, with finding the balance to everything. Why? Because we're the temperance, right? In the major arcana, we're going to think that by finding and making everything balanced will make everything okay. Spirit's saying here that's not necessarily going to be the case. What we need to do is we need to step back, understand that we can't fix everything, that we're actually going to have a lot of issues coming up. And maybe issues is a bit of an intense word, but with the sacral chakra from our past lives, from things that we've kind of shoved down in our present existence. And we're going to find here that we have to acknowledge it. We have to acknowledge the energy drain, and that starts to change things. The full moon in Aries is opposite Mars, which is, again, the god of war, and Pluto, which is the god of death. So there's intensity here already. Don't decide anything too quickly. We're going to want to make split-second decisions all the time. It's going to be like, I need to know, I need to know, I need to know, I need to keep on moving. It's almost like if I stop, something terrible is going to happen. That's not the case. That's just how we feel. There's an anxiety to this time that makes us think, I just have to push on. I just have to push on. Impulsiveness is going to lead to regret. We're going to sit there, we're going to be impulsive, and we're going to look back and think, wow, I really shouldn't have done that. Now, we can also have a tendency to regret things during this time anyway. We'll think, oh my gosh, I should have looked better, or I should have listened to this person, or I should have done this, or I should have done that. Be confident in our choices, be confident in our decisions, but don't run into anything too quickly, because that's going to be something that is a little bit, things can get a little bit hairy if we do. Right? The full moon opposite Mars gives us this strong need to fulfill what we desire, to have our desires fulfilled, to have ourselves moving forward in passion. Passion is going to drive us. We have this beautiful fire sign energy, right, that we are. And so we can really let that fire build up and build up and build up until it's all consuming. We have to be careful about moodiness, impulsiveness. That's a huge one for us, right? And anger. So things come in and all of a sudden we're going to think, well, if it's not meeting my goal, I don't need it. And Spirit's saying, no, there's a huge amount of energy coming in here that needs to kind of be sorted through, understood, and acknowledged within us to have us move forward to the place that we want, to what we desire within our lives, and to achieve our goals. If we let, again, the moodiness, the impulsiveness, and the anger take over, our goals will not be met. We'll feel things are just falling apart. We are going to be more emotional than we are rational during this time. Be aware of that. We want the rationale. We want everything to be rational. We, are very drawn to that energy during this time, and yet so many things just have to feel right. We're going to find out that we say, well, does it feel right? Yes, no, this feels right. That doesn't feel right. Okay, that's how I'm going to make these decisions. And so stepping into our calm, stepping into an acknowledgement of our space and our sacredness, that's going to be important for us. For the best results during this moon, we need to keep the energy vibration high, but we also need to acknowledge the negative. So what we're going to find is that anger during this time, it can fuel us. It can lead us completely off the path that we want to be on. But if we acknowledge anger, if we sit there and say, okay, I see you. I see where my temper is a bit short. I see why it's happening. I see my intensity here. And we acknowledge that and then use that anger to drive us forward, use that anger as the catalyst to get us to where we want to be, that's going to be the game changer. And that's going to be a very, very powerful game changer for us. This moon finds a way to have us acting towards our greater goals and our passion without us even realizing it, but also in a way that, makes us more defined in our reality, more defined in what we want. We start to say, but this is what I want, not that. This might be what everybody else wants me to have, or there might be a sense of, but this is what everybody else views as successful, but I have to move forward for me. The full moon squared Pluto deeply brings us these, okay. So the full moon squared Pluto brings us these emotions that we've buried down. We've buried them down. They are, they've been well and severely stamped down within our psyche, within ourselves. And we think, okay, I'm done with that. I'm not going to look at that. They start to come to the surface during this time. They start to come to the surface. There's something here within us that's going to be kind of birthed forward within our inner self. It first comes with the acknowledgement of the emotions that have been toxic to us, that are toxic if we keep them buried inside of us, and they will become debilitating. But if we know what's going on, if we know, that there's intensity around the energy around us, all of a sudden this time becomes cathartic. We see the hurts, the pains, the things that we haven't acknowledged, the things that have been overwhelming to us, and we start to, let it bubble up, let it move out, and we find ourselves purified. And that's going to be a really great thing. It's like, I feel lighter, I feel younger, I feel, more content within myself and what I desire. And that's where we want to be. Mars squared Pluto brings a strong drive towards success, but we have to be mindful about this. Now, we have to really be mindful about this because it's like, I will win at any cost. It brings control issues forward. It brings ruthlessness, jealousy, and underhandedness. None of these are cute. None of these are cute at all. We don't want to be that type of person. And so stepping back and saying, okay, I want to win, I want to succeed, but how do I focus on me? How do I embrace self-love? How do I embrace self-care? How do I move forward for me to be where I need to be? And not concerned or, dragged down by everybody else. People's egos are going to be playing a huge part of this time. They're going to be really coming in, really stepping in, and it's going to be too much if we're going to think, wow, their ego is just so enormous. Like, what the heck is going on? But people can also look at us and say the same thing, because we're all going to be slightly ego driven during this time. So being mindful of that is going to be a game changer. Not being drawn into drama, that's going to be a must, okay? So we can watch drama. We're going to really love drama too. We're going to want to watch it on television. We're going to want to read it in books. We're going to really like dramas, and we're going to find ourselves really wanting to get into them. Dramas at work, dramas, with other people. We're going to think, ooh, give me the dirt type of thing. Step back. Step back. We want the facts. We want to know what our goals are, what we need to do, not being drawn into everybody else's mess. That's going to be so important. The full moon in Aries most closely aligns with the fixed star Alphard. Now, Alphard is also known as Eta Pisceum. So this star is of the nature of Saturn and Jupiter, and this makes us prepared and determined and successful. It's just a beautiful, beautiful star. The star is also ruler of the pineal gland, which influences our spirituality, which has us really embracing the spiritual. With the issues that come up from the full moon squared Pluto, we might need a spiritual advisor during this time. We might need somebody to just hear all the toxicity coming up, who isn't involved in it, who doesn't feel like they have to fix it, who lets us speak, who holds sacred space for us, which sounds like maybe a silly thing. I remember when I first heard that, I thought, well, that sounds odd. But it's somebody being present, being able to listen to us, being able to connect with us, not, saying, oh, well, this happened to me and that happened to me and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, I'm here for you. And as I'm here for you, I'm taking that energy on and I'm helping you process it. That's going to be really important. If we have a family member who can do that, if we have a friend who can do that, that will be great. But there's something to a person who has no emotional investment in us that's going to be a really nice thing during this time. Getting back to the fixed star Alphard, okay? Nothing that happens with a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction is on a small scale during this time. So this star brings things into powerful intensity, brings things powerfully forward. Alphard is also the star of mysteries and spirituality and religions. And so we're going to have this powerful understanding of what once seemed, out of our realm of being, once seemed like, oh, I don't have time for that. Now we're going to find that the spiritual really does guide us forward. The spiritual is going to be so important to us. We're also going to see that we can be drawn to the darker side of spirituality, of religion, of mysticism, and we have to be mindful of that and step back from it and say, no, thank you. Because if we go down that road, it's going to have an impact on our soul. So just be mindful of that. We have here the Chariot. We have here this sense of courage and determination and focus and insight and ideas. And I am moving forward. I'm moving forward to what I want. I'm moving forward to what I desire. I'm moving forward to where I need to be. The Chariot tells us during this time we're ruled by the heart. Again, that correlates perfectly with the full moon in Aries opposite Mars and Pluto. It says here that we are going to be more emotional than we are rational. And we have to know that comes from our very root during this time. We need to listen to our emotions. Are we going to want to? No, not always. We're going to think, okay, I have to make a balanced, informed decision. Yet we're going to lean more to the emotional, to the insightful, to the instinctual, then we are going to lean towards the factual, towards the, things that might seem actually more prudent during this time. It's not saying that we're going to be rash or do things that are silly. Do be mindful of that. We don't want to do things that are going to be harmful to us or are going to drain us. What we need to do is acknowledge that our emotions are the guide here, and our emotions are going to tell us more if we connect with them than if we just disconnect and say, you know what, no, I'm not interested. So that starts to open up the world to us. We start to see the world in a different way. We start to see where we stand in the world in a different way. We start to see our ideas, our insights, our desires start to open up. We're entering into a new season, and that new season is powerful for us. It doesn't mean that anybody else has to understand, but it's almost like we're starting to see the world in a bigger sense, and we're going to start to see us maybe even in a little bit of a smaller sense. We don't have to be this larger than life figure. We don't have to achieve things more and more and more. What we have to do is stand where we are powerfully and insightfully and purposefully and say, this is what I want for my life. This is how I'm moving forward. This is where I want to be. This is me. And as we claim that space and as we actually hold space for ourselves and connect with ourselves, there tends to be this power that moves us forward. There tends to be this insight that guides us. It's like, oh, okay, so you've accepted you. And as we've accepted ourselves, we start to be empowered. We start to feel more grounded to the earth. And as we feel more grounded, we're actually going to fight a bit against the energy that's around us, against this sense of looking at the bigger picture and not thinking, oh, well, I have to do everything, because earth sign energy is kind of like, I have to till the earth, I have to be a part of the earth, I have to, move with the earth and just get everything done. There's going to be a need here to say, okay, I acknowledge the earth, I acknowledge what I see and feel and how I connect to it. We might want to go out in barefoot shoes, we might want to go out barefoot and connect with the earth. Just sitting in the sun is going to be something that's very beneficial for us, and we want to take in the beauty of our existence. We want to take in the beauty of our life and ourselves. But with the Witch of Earth, we're excuse me, we're also going to be learning that I can connect with the earth in a very powerful way. And it brings me this fierceness. It brings me this insight. It brings me this understanding. And it's not going to be in the way that we think. Because when we think of earth sign energy, right now, we're going to think of everything kind of falling into place and being lined up very neatly. But what Spirit is saying here is that not everything is going to be lined up as neatly as we would like. There's going to be chaos here. There's going to be insight. There's going to be different ideas. What we're going to see is a power. What we're going to see is a ferocity that moves us forward and that guides us to a new place. And as we connect with that energy, we connect with what we want. We're creating something. It's very important that we connect with the earth, okay, and with the oceans, almost, the rivers, the lakes, whatever it is, wherever we're by, we connect with this energy of the earth and the movement of the water through the earth, the movement of, inspiration and love and ideas and spirit as we connect with the earth. There's something here about emotional understanding. There's something here about the heart guiding us forward. There's something here about something building within us. And it's been building for a really long time. This is something that we would say, I've been nurturing this. I've been caring for this like a child, if not a child, if we're not giving birth, we're going to find that we've been nurturing something really quite beautiful within us that needs to be seen, that needs to come out, that needs to express itself more and more. And as we find this expression, as we find these ideas, we find that we become more secure within ourselves. We find that things start to make sense. It's like, oh, well, that's why that needed to happen. Or, oh, that's why I needed to take those steps. And then it's like we realize that we're safe, and we're safe enough to be able to embrace what it is that we really desire. Now, at our heart, we're learning about money. And it might sound funny because, I might be older and sitting there and saying, how am I learning about this now? But take in the information that's coming your way. Take in everything that's coming, Sagittarius, because what we're going to find is that we're looking at money and we're looking at it like a student. We're looking at it like a child. And it can be that we have this tendency to think, oh, it'll always be there. And we have gone through rough patches, where it hasn't always been there, or we might not even be in these rough patches now, thinking, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to move forward? And yet there's something inside of us that says it's always going to be there. Don't start doubting that, and don't start putting yourself down and saying, oh no, I'm never going to have the wealth and the prosperity that I once did. I'm never going to have the security that I once did. Because Spirit is saying here, there's a shift that's coming, and it's coming because you're looking at things, again, differently. You're looking at things differently. You're letting your heart open up. You're also letting yourself mourn. And mourning is a huge part of healing. It really is. This release, this sense of tears, this sense of, okay, I see this, I understand it, and I have to move forward for me. And it's going to be for us. Now, I personally think it's the hardest thing to have achieved a dream and then have it ripped away and then watch everything fall apart. Having seen that, having experienced that, it's devastating and it leaves a scar on us. And so for some of us, we have that scar and we're sitting there and we're looking at it and we're thinking, well, how could I ever get there again? Or how could I ever have that dream? We might never have achieved it, And we're thinking it's just further and further out of reach. Spirit is saying, step back. Start to see what you really want. Start to see what you really desire. And start to see where you really want to be. It's not where you think you should be. It's not where people are telling you you need to be. It's like, what makes me happy? And how does it make me happy? Where are my talents? What's my love? What's my passion? How does this guide me forward? We start to become a student of prosperity. We start to think outside of the box, and all of a sudden things start to make sense. It moves us to the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Swords is God's source spirit, however we see the divine, the universe, cutting through doubts and fears. It cuts through these doubts and fears. It cuts through a lot that is keeping our emotional self and our mental self from coming together, and we're starting to say oh, is that the connection? Oh, mentally, like logically, I thought this, and emotionally, I thought this, and now I feel like I need to move forward in this energy, in this understanding, in this power, in this insight, and in this being that is me. We're going to see that a lot of things that we were confused about start to come forward. It's like, okay, well, that mucked me up, that made me stumble, and now I'm saying why? Like, why didn't I move forward? Like, why did I let that person's words hurt me, harm me, bring me down? And this is going to be, for us, a changing point. There's something here that starts to have us turning a different way. It starts to have us looking at things very intuitively, very insightfully, very spiritually, very much, with the sense of, I'm embracing my voice, I'm embracing what I desire. We can find ourselves saying no more, which is actually a really good thing. Instead of saying, oh yeah, I'll do that, or oh yeah, I'll be as accommodating as possible. It's like, no, this isn't right. This isn't how things need to be. This isn't how things need to move forward. So I'm not going to get involved in it. We need to put down our feet more, or our foot more, and have those clear boundaries. And this energy of the Ace of Swords as a gift to our heart and mind coming together is really going to be beneficial in doing so. With the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is joyfulness. It is, and they all live happily ever after. In the public arena, that's what we're moving towards. We're moving towards this, and they all live happily ever after. Unfortunately, we have the 3 of Swords coming in, which just says affairs of the heart. These are the things that have tried to break us, have tried to destroy us, have tried to make us doubt or fear, or, not truly understand ourselves. So with the 10 of Cups, we have this sense of hurt. We have this, not with the 10 of Cups, with the 3 of Swords, we have the sense of hurt. We have the sense of pain. With the 10 of Cups, we have the sense of love. We have the sense of acceptance. We have the sense of there is more here than meets the eyes. And I get to start to follow what it is that brings me happiness, joy, success, prosperity, power, insight, and that moves me forward. And so we start to look at the pain that has defined us for so long and say, what are you doing? What are you doing? And why am I letting you destroy me? Because I remember being told once, that nobody can make us feel anything. We let ourselves feel things. And I thought that was such a hard thing to understand, because people can make us feel guilty, right? And people can make us feel angry, and people can make us, feel all these things. But it's because they trigger something within us. We have this history with them where we're just frustrated with them, or we've expected more from them and they've disappointed us, and they bring up this hurt, this pain, or they make us feel like, we didn't do enough. But it's our reaction to them that needs to be changed, because we can't change them. And this is almost what we're doing here in the public arena. We're changing the way that we're reacting to people. We're changing the way that we're reacting to this pain that we've carried along for way too long. And we're saying, no, no, you don't get to define me. You don't get to hold me back. You don't get to keep me from the place that I need to be. And as this comes to realization, all of a sudden the Ace of Wands comes in, and this is a new adventure. This is new passion, new insight, new ideas, new power moving us forward. And it's like, oh, that's why I had to let this go. That's why I had to start focusing on my happiness, who I truly am, and stop worrying about what everybody else is going to say about me, or what everybody else is going to think about me, or how certain people might laugh as I embrace my gifts, as I embrace what I want from life. And I start to say, what does it matter? There are so many people in this world who aren't the most talented people in the world, but are highly successful because they were determined and they believed in themselves. There are so many people who are highly talented, but they don't believe in themselves. And somewhere along the way, their confidence got shattered. It could be by a parent, a caregiver, a teacher, a friend, a lover. They got destroyed. And so they stopped believing in themselves. And now the new adventure is, can I take this passion? Can I take this essence of what I was born with and let it illuminate me? Let it guide me forward. Let it be my passion and understanding. Let it be my guiding force. Because the answer here is, yes, we can. Yes, we can, but we have to understand the darkness that is around us. Let's see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Ooh, I need to turn them over. There we go. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. All right. So at our root, we have boundaries, which is exactly what came up at our heart, but that's going to be really important. It's the root aspect of ourselves. Step out of your comfort zone. Have firm boundaries. Don't expect so much from yourself that, you know, it's like I'm taking on the world. It's like, no. Have clear boundaries and step out of your comfort zone. Do something that's a little bit extraordinary. You know, start to treat yourself. You know, it can be buying something really nice and saying, you know what, I'm worth it. I'm worth it. I've always wanted this scarf. You know, the weather is getting chillier. I can have it. Or it might even be like just going out for a cup of coffee where, you know, yes, logically I have coffee in the house and I should make myself a pot and that would be better. But I can treat myself. I can just take a moment just to connect with me. That's going to be really important. And it can just be going for a walk. It doesn't have to involve spending money at all. Doing something that we really love. This is going to be a time where we're setting up those boundaries and that sense of there's sacred space within me. There's sacredness that I get to embrace and embody during this time. It moves us to our subconscious, not our subconscious, our Luna inner self. There we go. And we have release. Communication is key. In order to release what has been holding us back, in order to release what it is that we need to kind of birth forward into the world, we need to communicate. We need to communicate what we want. We need to communicate what we desire. We need to communicate what we're working towards. Because if we don't say it to ourselves, especially to ourselves, you know, we're never going to be able to get there. We then have acceptance. Prosperity lies ahead. When we start to accept ourselves, when we start to accept our role within the world, our little bit of magic that we have, this little sense of this is why I exist, prosperity lies ahead. We can walk this path that makes us feel fulfilled. Power, the full moon. In the public arena, the full moon is going to be astoundingly powerful for us. Show the world the real you. And that's going to be really important. As we embrace this power, we need to show the world who we truly are. Not who they want us to be, not who the pain has made us, but who we truly are. It moves us to our subconscious Luna self, which is hunger. Oh, goodness. Adjustments are required. What we hunger for, we're going to have to make adjustments to be able to call into our lives. There's going to be a sense here of what we're hungering for and what we're getting might not always align, but once we make the adjustments, once we like kind of clear house and declutter, we're going to find that it becomes a beautiful way forward. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Queen of Swords. Words are going to be like weapons during this time. We can wield them really well, and so can others. So we have to be mindful of this. We're going to find that when people tick us off, we're going to want to attack verbally, and we're going to want to get into these sparring matches with them where we get the last word. That's not going to better anything. So we just have to be mindful of that during this time, and especially for the fact that when we are attacked, there's going to be a lot of verbal manipulation. So do be mindful of that. And it's going to come from people where you're sitting there, you're like, you don't know me, you like, what the heck? And they're going to just go for the jugular. So do be mindful. Then we have our subconscious chakra message, which is forgiveness, the heart chakra. I love this. The heart chakra is coming through very strongly during this time. The heart just comes through very strongly in this reading. And here with forgiveness, it's not necessarily magnanimously, there we go, forgiving others. It is being able to forgive ourselves for the hurt, the pain, the disappointment, the anger, and the fears that we have been through. As we start to forgive ourselves, we start to be empowered. We start to see ourselves moving forward towards our goals, towards what we desire, and this weight is lifted off our shoulders, which is really what this full moon is wanting us to do. It's wanting us to free us. Our subconscious rooted self is the Hangman. We see things differently, and that's powerful. We're going to think it's wrong because everybody sees things one way and we're going to see it the other. No, look at things differently, embrace the difference of insight and ideas, let yourself move forward. The subconscious inner self is the Four of Fire. The Four of Fire, the Four of Wands, celebration, success, new job opportunities, moving house. It's a sense of moving forward in beauty. It's a sense of embracing more of what we want. It's celebration. We actually have the Major Arcana Marriage card here and the Minor Arcana Marriage card. So the Major Arcana Marriage card can tell us that we're a little bit too committed to something that's going to be not forgiving, all right? And so that we have to be mindful of. It's not necessarily a person. We're not talking about a person that we're married to if we're married, but it's just saying we're going to kind of give our loyalty to something or give, our time and our effort to something that's a little bit too, that's demanding too much and taking us off the path that we originally wanted. With the Four of Fire, the Four of Wands, this is in a very positive sense of being committed, of also, of our passion, our insight, and our ideas leading us forward, having time to play, having time to express ourselves, and also having time to connect with spirit and with wisdom is going to be really important for us during this time. Our subconscious emotional self is the Ace of Pentacles. Now we have 3 aces coming forward, the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Swords, and now the Ace of Pentacles. And it's here where we have the Page of Pentacles. And so we're definitely taking this gift of prosperity, success, bounty. We're moving into the next chapter. And the next chapter is going to be pretty cool. Our subconscious public arena self is the Hierophant. So as much as the Hierophant comes through as an energy to be mindful of, in the public arena, it also comes through as a very positive energy. There's something, again, that we are married to, that we are connected with. Not a person that we're married to, but an idea, a certain way forward. That's like, if I stop doing this, I stop being me. And we're going to say that to ourselves. And it's not going to be destructive, okay? If the thing that we're doing is destroying us, is breaking us down, sometimes we need to step away from it. And it might be that we come back to it. It might be something that we've always wanted to create, but we need to step away from the creation of it at this moment and be able to say, okay, I need time to heal. I need time to just take care of myself, to get my mind in order, to, calm myself, care for myself, show up for myself, and then I'll come back, right? There is also this sense of being able to embrace the powerful aspect of ourselves, not always thinking, oh, I have to be better, I have to do better, I have to be more, I have to do more. It's like, no, I'm embracing the power of me, and that is awesome. All right, Sagittarius, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this full moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Sagittarius, and may you have a blessed moon.